Hey everybody, this is another update on the My Little Pony project. Still don't have a cane number that fits the car yet. I know it's been a couple days since we got an update, but I've been a little under the weather and starting to feel a little better. So we've been out here since about 2:30 this morning, pedaling. Got the cam put in the motor, got the new lifters put in it, lifter trays are in. We've got a pile of parts over here to take to the parts washer. It's handy to know a guy. I found out if you want to do stuff cheap. So luckily I do know a guy with the parts washer, so I'll be visiting him today. Get the valve covers cleaned up, get the lifter, valley, I guess I should say, cover cleaned up. It's a little more cleanup work on the oil pan to do. Apparently whenever you knock ring lands out of every piston in a motor, it does some crazy crap to the oil. Because the oil pan was our first experiment with the 5.3 with the turbo, and it made it about 500 feet before it scattered everything. But you live and learn. We've had good success since then, but as you can say, young, dumb, stupid, whatever. That was us. I don't think anybody's seen the transmission that's going in this car yet, so I figured I'd show that to you. This is the Powerglide. It's got a sportsman brake in it. It's got a TCI converter that's been worked over by Champ Converters out of Evansville. They're a small company but do great work. We've had good luck with them in the past. My sister had a 1500 horsepower blown alcohol car, ran some Jake super quick with. We had one of their converters in it. They always does good, so went with them. I found this converter and transmission laying in the guy's yard, literally. Up in Indiana, drove up there. It was on Craigslist. He wanted $500 for it, and the way I looked at it was, I want a trans brake. Turbo cars really need a trans brake to leave good under boost. So this thing had a trans brake in it, and when I got there, it looked a lot worse than I expected. I was a little pissed. I drove about 2 hours to go get it, and it's supposed to have this nice pretty black converter that came with it. Oh no, that picture wasn't meant for that ad. Apparently it was a different ad that picture was supposed to go with. So he dug this converter up out of a wheelbarrow that had water sitting in it. It looked rad. Like, you couldn't tell, it didn't have any paint on it. It was rusted, looked horrible. So I decided I was gonna pull the transmission paint off of it before I bought it. Pulled the transmission pan off of it, and it looked brand new inside, which was quite a shocker because the pan that was on it was almost rusted through from the outside. It was so bad. So ended up jewing the guy down to $400. The way I looked at it was the trans brake was worth $400. If I had to buy a new one, it looked pretty new. I was getting a $100 case, and I thought it had 176 gear set in it, which would have been fine for this car. But it didn't. It has set up 182s in it, which are the weaker gear set that's known to go kabooty pretty quick. So, got a hold of Gary Knott Race Cars, Romeo, I think I'm saying that right. He gives a pretty awesome deal on a set of 180 gear set and straight cuts, Sonax, real high quality. Really too good for a stock case, in my opinion, but that's what I had, so that's what we're going to use. I really don't want to spend another $800-900 on a nice dead bear case or a reed case, so we're not going to do that. We did take and put this transmission together ourselves. I did. Don't know much about transmission building. Had to turn the pump to put a roller bearing from the direct drum to the pump. That was a little sketchy. Never ran a lathe before. We did that though. Got it all done. Got it put together. Got where I felt like I was comfortable with it being right. And then I got to wondering if I really knew what I was doing or not. So I took it from that point. I called up Arnett Transmissions. They build a lot of nice racing transmissions. They do good work. They run a Copo Camaro and some of the NHRA stuff. They're pretty competitive in that. They do a pretty good job. So I took it over there and was like, hey, I told him I bought it as is, as it sits, because I didn't really want to tell him that, hey, I've been digging through this thing and it's probably fucked up, and I really need you to fix it. I wanted to say, hey, I bought it. It was screwed up. Can you fix it for me if it's screwed up? So he pulls it apart, calls me. It took a while. If you know Arnett, it takes a while. But he's pretty good priced, and he does good work. So we wait on him. And I wasn't in no rush, 'cause I didn't even have this car at that time. I was still working on the Corvette at that time. So he called me a month and a half later, after I called him 2 or 3 times. And he says, hey, everything looks good in this transmission. It looks brand new. All the clutch packs look good. All the tolerances look good. Everything looks good. I rubbed my magic on a couple things. He upped the line pressure a little bit in the valve body, which I wouldn't have known to do. I would have thought a TCI valve body would have been kind of set up pretty good from the factory. Apparently, in his opinion, it's not. So he did a couple things there. But basically, in my opinion, told me I did a pretty good job putting the transmission together. He didn't know I put it together, but he felt like it was put together right, with the exception of some of the stuff he likes to do personally. So I felt pretty good about that. I feel pretty confident about the next one I'm going to build, which is supposedly a 176 gear set again. I didn't have time to pull it apart. It was cheap. It was $100. So I bought it. It was supposedly good. Came with a converter that was still in it. I couldn't get the input shaft out to measure it. Some of you might know you can measure the input shaft and tell what gear set's in it. Couldn't get it out because the ring for some reason was stuck in it. The guy told me he pulled it out before I got there and he measured it, and it's a 176 gear set. I really don't trust him, but I bought another good case. It's right here, nice bright orange. Pretty much stock stuff I expect. I don't expect. Suppose it's got a B&M shift kit in it, but put it in by some transmission shop in Owensboro. But I really don't trust the guy a whole lot. So, I mean, I got no reason to trust people on Craigslist. I don't think you should either. But we got that for another project to put together at some point. Or if someone comes along and they want it bad enough, they can have it. Something else we also did to this transmission was put a Sonax servo in it and cover, which at the time, this is when the Purple Turbo Racing stuff was going on, and it just so happened the Sonax servo cover only comes in bright purple, as you can see here. So it kind of went with it. So we bought that from Tony Romo too. He does good. I feel like he does a lot of nice stuff. They build a lot of nice cars down there at Gary Knight Race Cars. If you need a drive shaft, something like that, PSD, he's do it for them. He's do it for Mark Williams. He's always done me right. I mean, he probably don't know me, but he can say I sent you. We still, as I said earlier, we don't know what we're doing with the K member yet. The motors in these cars are offset some, and I'm thinking I'm just going to be better off buying a K member. I'm not able to find a mild steel K member, which are about $100 cheaper than the chromoly ones. So I may have to buy a chromoly K member that will have the 4.6 mounts for this car. That kind of sucks. I mean, I'm wrong. I'm getting a nicer piece and it's stronger and it's lighter, but I don't really want to spend an extra $100 when I'm already this much too deep in it. So we may still cut this K member up and throw it together if budget really don't allow. So for that to happen, or if I can't sell this K member, if I can sell this K member, then yeah, I'll throw some money at it and get the nice K member. But that's about it for today. I think I rambled on pretty much long enough. I did take, and I'll show you something I tried today. It didn't work out. I took in through this 6.4 or 7.3 intercooler I had laying around. I thought, well, shoot, maybe this will fit in the front of the Fox body. Yeah, no, it won't. Not even close. It's way too wide. It's about as wide as the car is. So that kind of ruins that idea of putting that air-to-air on it. I've also got a 6.4 air-to-air intercooler that is somewhere. I got to find it. I want to say it's over at my buddy's house where he used to live, but I'm sure it's over there if it ain't here. So, and it's not here, so we may try fitting it, but I know it's even taller, and it's not as wide, but it's quite a bit taller. So I don't think it'll work either. So we'll probably go with a hot air setup on this car, which is no intercooler. Probably a low horsepower we're going to be making. We can probably get away with no meth. Kevin's truck, we run no methanol injection on it with a hot air setup and go 630s. If this car goes in 630s, it'd make my day. I don't think it'll ever get there with this motor in it. It's a weak rod motor. It's an early 5.3, somewhere between 99 and 03 when it was built. So it's got the weak rods in it. You never know. It may get there. The car, we haven't weighed it yet, but we got a set of scales for it to borrow to put the scale of the car out whenever we get it put together. I'm going to leave the car pretty much full interior for now. I really don't think we need to shed the interior out of it to make it do what we want to do with it. We're really going to look to run 750 index with this thing on a weekly basis. And then Charlie Bennett of Big Red Wagon Productions just put together a class for a true street radial. So no drag radials, just a real street tire. And that kind of piqued my interest because from what I've done, research I've done, the fastest anybody's ever been in an 1/8 mile on a true radial, a true treaded tire, is 5.68. And I think it took that guy a while to get there from the way I understood it. So if we can run mid, low sixes consistently and get it down the track with our roadblocks and all the traction control and stuff we have the ability to do if we decide to hook it up, I don't know why we couldn't get there. I think we run mid sixes pretty easy. This car won't have a cage in it, so it won't be legal to run that fast, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a no time event. So they're not going to be that strict on tech, which is nice. Obviously, you're taking some personal risk there, not having a cage in the car. I've built my own chromoly tube chassis before, and I may see what I can do about bending up a cage I like for this car that fits the lines well and is out of the way. But I'm not a big fan of a street car having a cage in it because it's something else to bounce your head against if you have an actual wreck on the street. So we'll see what we think about that at a future date. Well, I've rambled on here for about 12 minutes. A little longer than I intended to, probably 2 or 3 times as long as I intended to. But y'all have a good day. We'll have another update tomorrow.